Yeah, we'll try. Perfect. Got it. Alan, woo!
Hey,
Been a while. How the heck are you?
good. Good to see you, Will.
Yeah, you too. You too.
Here we are.
Here we are back.
Back at last.
Been at least a year, probably.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Both got some new gear, I know.
Yeah. New gear, less hair. It's like time.
I'll take it though. I'll take gear over here any day. I don't need it.
It's a bit
But
heavy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We were talking about making a bypassing the tool for this one and just making a delay. I guess it would be a rhythmic delay. Is that fair to say? Like clocked from a MIDI clock.
A kind of MIDI clocked delay. So the
Right. You have
so the
your
first bit would
MIDIs.
be like getting a MIDI clock. Some kind of
Right. You've got MIDI clock somewhere, whether that's Euro rack, a DAW, some external source, comes into Kyma, and then we're gonna make a delay at multiples of that clock so that as it comes back around, it's all in time.
it's all in time, yeah. Mm. So
Right?
you have you got a clocky thing?
I got it's plugged in and the cord isn't long enough, so you just have to trust me. But I got this thing. It's made by a guy in Australia called the D thing.
The
It's for
D.
DFAM, the Moog DFAM.
Oh yeah.
Because as it is, like the DFAM just kind of goes around the sequencer, right? You go step 8-step sequencer. But this guy found a way through this box he made so you can do just the odd steps, so 1, 3, 5, 7, just the even steps. You can randomly jump around, you can ping pong, and it's awesome. So it's like getting to experience the DFAM in a way you can't really get to, or I wasn't getting to without this.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, but it can send MIDI and receive it if you wanted that. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like it's got a couple knobs. So you set your tempo, and then clocks can clock DFAM, and then it's also send the MIDI into Kyma.
Okay. Mhm. Trying to think, what have I got that sends? Well, I've got the door. We could try and get
Yeah,
it out.
just do a DAW. I think whatever. Not everyone's going to be using a D thing,
Yeah,
so just getting MIDI in and building the delay around the MIDI source, I guess,
yeah,
was good.
good. Okay, so our first challenge is getting MIDI clock to arrive
Getting MIDI clock into Kyma.
into Kyma.
Let's start finger painting and see what happens.
Yeah, let's give it a go. You might have
Yeah.
to talk me through this because like this is
Well, I'll be making it up as I go, as you
yeah,
do.
yeah. We haven't really this is completely unprepared.
This is well, we're just talking it through.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well
I,
let's so this is gonna get this gonna we're gonna stray outside of strictly Kima and just see how we get MIDI clock coming from something in.
right. Have you ever done that? I mean, I've sent MIDI in I'm trying to think what I did. I did do it. No, I sent MIDI out from Kyma. That's what I did. And then I clocked Eurorack and then sent that audio back into Kyma
Hmm.
for for processing.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. So, because I know this has been a topic a lot of people like on the Q&A and sort of asked about receiving
So
receiving
let's
clock.
I'll do a little tour of the desk just so we see our options. So we've got like it's you. Yay. Um
There's
so there's like a big MIDI interface there. So there's a hardware MIDI interface attached to the computer.
the
So
Motu.
yeah, the Motu. And then there's the Kyma. So we got Pacamara over there on top of a Motu ultralight. So that's got MIDI in as well. So one option is to do the kind of 5-pin DIN thing. But
Hmm.
the Mara is also connected through USB-C to the computer. So I'm there should be a way, I'm thinking, to spout MIDI clock out of Cubase. Say that's what I'll be using.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully straight into the Mara
Yeah, no cable.
with no cable. We'll give that a go. Well, I say with no
Cableless.
cable, with through the USB.
Yeah, there. Yeah, I guess I mean no 5-pin DIN.
Yeah, but if that doesn't work, we can back up to 5-pin DIN and just kind of get out the MIDI cables.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens indeed. Okay, here we go. We're bringing up the Cubase. For some reason, Doctor Who theme came to mind there.
What's that?
I was just humming the Doctor Who theme. I don't know why.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna use that, I guess. Just start with an empty thing. Yeah, just bring it there. Right, so we have an empty thing. Okay, so we need to send the MIDI. It's under, where is it? MIDI. Where's all the clock stuff gone? I don't think it's under the metronome, but yeah, that's not the clock.
I think is that the sound of the metronome?
Yeah, that's just
Maybe
the metronome.
maybe just search it under help or something.
Yeah. I did MIDI.
Yeah, maybe probably.
Oh, I forgot where all the clock stuff lives. It's not under shared control. The sync. Where's the sync stuff gone? It's not a project thing, is it? You can see we've practiced this many times.
Exactly. We know exactly what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Um,
For some reason I thought it was
it's not at the bottom. Activate external sync. Is that
oh, where was that?
the one more over transport? I think. Yeah, all the way at the bottom.
There you go. Oh.
Or is that something coming
Oh,
into?
look, this thing. I just can't read properly, can I? There we go. So, destinations. Here we go. This is the screen I was looking for.
That's what you're looking for? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been in Cubase in like 20 years. So.
It's a MIDI clock destination. So the Pacamara is being seen as a virtual MIDI destination. I think.
Okay, excellent.
Thanks to Kyma control, which I imagine,
Kyma Connect.
which is quite
I
happy.
know. I didn't think. On a side note, Kyma Connect. Does that
Kyma
work
Connect,
with
sorry.
Pacamara?
Sorry?
Does that work with the Pacamara, the Kyma Connect?
Seems to. Yeah.
Seems okay, because I didn't think you needed that. I don't have a Pacamara, but I thought I remember them saying it's no longer we don't need it anymore.
Maybe don't.
But
All these
know.
questions.
In any case, yeah,
But it is running. I've got it ready.
we're gonna figure it out.
So yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Anyway, it's kind of running. So we got that. So maybe. So that's the MIDI clock. So we probably don't want the time code. We just want the clock, don't we? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there we go. It's running. Should we see if anything's magically appearing in Kyma yet? Well, the little M isn't turning up. And let's go look at the messages. So there's no obvious messages coming out in the log. Does it show clock messages? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't.
I would think go back to your Kyma Connect though, because I thought
Oh, that's not good.
Well, that's
not going to help, is it? Just let it reload.
4 processors, 4 GB. Then that's standard, right?
Yeah.
Remember you had to upgrade your Pacarana for more RAM? Okay, there's something.
Here's some stuff. Now that's like OSC stuff coming in from I'm not sure coming from I think that's Kyma Connect. But that doesn't look like a clock signal though. Oh well.
Right.
So we may
You
or may
have
not be receiving.
switch over to your Kyma Connect again real quick. Because I thought I saw it yellowed out. Yeah, see down at the bottom? It's not
Yeah, that's because it can't find these things.
okay.
So like if we stop it, I can just go to the uh, these things and just turn them off, and then it should be happy and go green.
Okay.
Just say we're not using those right now, and then just check. So yeah, routing doesn't sort of mention clock specifically. Oh, enable sync sysacts. It doesn't. There's nothing that sort of obviously screams to me. Send the clock. Oh well, run it again. So this should go green. There we go. Yep. So it's happening.
Yes.
So it was
Okay.
only complaining because it couldn't see those things,
Mm-hmm.
which aren't plugged in right now. Okay, so come back here. Not seeing any MIDI there, but maybe that's okay. So how would we see the clock? Can you remember what the clock, MIDI clock is called?
I think there's
It's mentioned in the global map.
a sound for isn't there a sound for receive MIDI clock? Or am I
Ooh,
imagining
have
that?
you got yours running? Do you want to have a look while I look at the global?
Here's yeah, MIDI start stop master clock.
Oh yeah, that sounds good.
Um yeah, that's as many outputs. Let's see, start. The sound sends an uninterrupted sequence of bytes to the MIDI output. Okay, but that's
So here's some clocky stuff.
hang on, I lost
So
screen. Okay, there we go.
so we can do. I'll just put it in a Santa Global controller to start
Mm-hmm.
with. Timing clock. See what that does. Okay. It seems less than impressed.
There's no pulse.
Yeah. We'll bung a couple in there, see if any of these things are happy with us. So that was the clock. And which one else? We could do song start. Any of these doing anything? No. So we're not seeing that. Can we extract the duration? Another one of those on. Can't spell today. Okay, so everything's kind of zero. I'm just going to recycle the memory because that's always a good thing to do. if your VCS isn't doing something that you think it should be. And they're not doing anything. So presumably, what else? We could have a look at timecode as well. Well, I think timecode is that the same as this timecode that appears on the DSP status? And that's not doing anything either. But we're not sending, we didn't ask Cubase to send timecode. So yeah.
So I'm just looking on the Q&A to see if
That's a metronome sound. Is really recording. This is the time.
please try to tell me. Okay, so activate external sync. Anytime code. Destination. So you're sending MIDI clock to the Pacamara. Right, send MIDI clock in. What is send MIDI clock in stop mode? Always send start message. I would think that's good. Send MIDI clock in stop mode.
I guess that means that even when you stop, it's still sending a clock message.
But this is not, Kyma's not seeing this, right?
No.
I'm not confident it's getting there.
Yeah. So I guess it should in theory. But nothing's sort of coming out. So what we could do is we could try the wire approach to see if we get something to work. So we could send it out through one of the outputs. In out. Let's send it out through 8 because 8's on the front panel. So we could send. Okay. So, oh, the little 8 is lit up on the MIDI interface. So I'll just get a MIDI cable, which I think is buried somewhere in the back of the cupboard.
I know how that goes.
Oh no, here's some. Right. Hopefully it's a reach. And, plug this into the back of the interface. This is where I need a mirror. Where's my mirror? It'll now be the sound of dropping expensive equipment and shrieking. Right. Gotcha. There. Okay. Managed to do that without anything. You know what I might not have done yet? Is look, the MIDI input isn't set to host. So and now we've got M coming all over the place, and they're all running. So
So now we're wired and doing it over the SVC.
yeah, but I don't think we needed the wire. So there you go. There's your first little lesson. Is don't
Okay.
forget to change the MIDI input to host USB if you
So I swear it's always something simple, isn't it?
if
Or
you want
usually,
to
like, is it plugged in?
is it
Did you turn it on?
turned
You
it off?
know, is there gas in your engine or your tank? You know what I mean? Like, all right. So, okay, good. So first
This is
problem solved.
definitely
So then,
how you do this completely from scratch and in a clueless mood. Great. So you
right.
turn that on, and that's gonna. If you don't turn that on, then obviously nothing's coming through. So should we have a look at the? Let's go have a look at the MIDI messages. Yeah, look, the clock's coming through. That's interesting.
There it is. Good stuff. So it's coming from Cubase into Kyma.
There. Yeah, not quite sure what all that
Good
means. There we
stuff.
go.
Yes.
We are seeing clock. So actually having a filter for clock would possibly be a useful thing. Because if you were sending clock, it's going to be hard to see anything else in the midst of that, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a
Anyway,
lot
so we've
going
got a
on.
clock. Now our clock display is flashing all over the place. So should we slow it down a little bit? Turn on for 25 milliseconds. Ooh, maybe that was too many. 10? Yeah, okay, you can kind of. So how fast should the clock be running?
Well, I guess it is that our tempo or is that something different?
That is the MIDI clock, so it's good. It's a good question to then say, well, what's it sending?
Yeah, it's probably, isn't it default to like 120 BPM?
I'm running at 120 BPM, but I'm not sure what the. I mean, that was faster than that. You know that
For
the
sure.
clock is. I'm not sure where that might be buried in the preferences somewhere. The that one looks like
Is MIDI clock 20, what is it?
24 bluebies per.
24 pulses per quarter note?
Might be, yeah.
So it's 24. Would it be 24 times 120? Like, I mean, because that's a quarter note, right? Your 120 is your tempo.
Mm,
So that's a lot of pulses.
yeah. Um, that's recording. Yeah. Ednut's editing. Okay. Can't see anything there that lets you set that. But we could slow the tempo right down and see if anything interesting happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's our clock. Let's go get this tempo. And where is it? Where is it? Where's the tempo? There it is. How slow can Cubase let us go? 10. You can do it. Yeah. So the duration has changed and the clicks have changed. Duration is climbing down. Look at it. It's constantly going down. Is it settling? Yeah, it's settling around quarter of a second. Interestingly. So does that?
Are the pulses like inconsistent? You know, it's not like a.
Yeah, I think that's just a VCS kind of update kind of thing, which is
Hmm.
a bit fair enough. Especially seeing as we're screen capturing and recording as well. So.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm across the pond.
Yeah. No, it's sort of it is a bit irregular looking for me as well.
Well, I mean, I guess once we get this, then it's just a matter of maybe getting to.
Oh look, one. Okay, one. So this is the BPM. That's 1 beat per minute. What's Kyma make of this? Not very much yet. Oh, there you go. Okay, it's getting the clicks in now. That's interesting. It's sort of like a delay in them coming. So if it was 1 beat per minute, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's what the one means. Yeah, so it's 1 beat per minute. So that should be, so that'd be, so this duration should be 60. But it's like 2.4.
What's the range of that fader?
Well,
It would still show, I guess.
it's still showing the number. I mean, it's like,
Right.
but it's like 2.4. So like what? So now we have some mathematics to do.
Well, if it's 24 pulses per quarter note, then it would be 24 in a minute, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So if you took
Because we have
60 seconds
1 quarter note per minute.
and divided it, well, if we divide it by 2.4, because that's what we're getting, 60 seconds divided by 2.4, 25. Interestingly, so it looks like it's 25 clicks per something.
Does that make that almost seemed like it makes sense, doesn't it?
Maybe. I don't know. I thought it'd be 20 something 24. Actually, I say that. That's not really 24, is it? That's 2.5. If you look at, yeah, that's really 2.49. So 60 divided by 2.5 is 24. And we were looking for 24.
24 pulses per quarter note.
Yeah.
So it makes
So there you go. So it is. You're right.
it?
We've proven-ish that it is 24 pulses per quarter note. So you could go trigger every 24, and that would give you a trigger that is the quarter note. But we might want to speed this back up again.
A little, maybe a little.
Okay, so back at 120 BPM. And oh yeah, but the trigger's a bit we'll turn it on just so we can see it. Turn on for 25 milliseconds just so we can see it on the screen. There you go. So now we're getting a quarter note beat. So when we do start, this is the start one, isn't it? So when we do song start, let's turn that on for a while as well. Turn that on for 5, like half a second so we can see it. And then let's shrink this down, shall we, so we can see Kyma at the same time.
Good thinking.
So let's stop it. I didn't see the song start sort of do anything. So maybe we need to look back at that external sync setup. So we're sending time code for fun. We're sending clock. Always send start message. When select a MIDI start message is always sent rather than a MIDI continue message.
MIDI start message is always sent.
MIDI clock will be sent in stop mode.
There's a MIDI continue message.
Yeah. So if we turn that off, right? So we've got no. So the clock stopped, but I'm not seeing a song start message coming through.
What's over in your notes there behind? It says something about song start, doesn't it? Extract song start is MIDI song start is extract clock. 1 millisecond duration triggers caused by the receipt of the corresponding MIDI message.
So we could see if any of these things are coming up, couldn't we? And again, I'll elongate that so we don't miss it. And should we see if song continues coming through?
Wow, why not?
Oops, missed. Okay, none of them are doing anything. Let's go back to the cubes. Ooh, did I see start display flash? Or was that just my eyes?
Yeah.
Oh,
well, stop display just went.
Oh, look, there it did. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, I think it's working. I wonder why it didn't seem to before. It's like it seems. See the delay on that? Well, here, I'll tell you when so I'm going to push play, right? I'm going to hit play now.
Cubase.
Yeah. And then the song start comes out ages later.
Mm-hmm.
And we're never getting a continue, are we? Well, that came out much faster. But the time code comes through straight away. There does seem to be a bit of a delay. I don't know if that matters for what we want to do. But I was thinking, so the reason why song start might be useful, or so the time code's coming through literally just as a time in seconds, is that? Yeah, look. Oh, that's interesting. So the time code comes through all the time. So if I go to 2 minutes 30.
Oh, I see. As you're scrubbing the Cubase timeline.
Okay, so that timeline is coming through in seconds. Sorry, the time code. That's seconds. Because if we go to 3 minutes, it's
You're at 180. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So that's cool. The reason I was thinking that start might be important is because if we want to trigger the clock on the beat,
exactly,
then we're triggering every 24. But when are we sort of starting? Do you know what I mean? It's like we're triggering every 4, but we might want to synchronize that. So I think trigger every has a version that has reset. It does. So we could go trigger every 24, reset song start. So when we start, that's when we start counting the 24.
Mm,
Um,
that's good thinking.
so it sort of stays a bit synchronized, perhaps. There we go. Got a little clock doing the thing. Got a clock. So we haven't got a sense of bar or anything, but I guess Cubase isn't really sending that. It's sending this BPM clock and it's sending a time code. And we will be happy with that.
Yeah, and kind of what I'm dreaming up isn't really even, it's in time, but there's not real, like in time rhythmically, but not a real sense of bars, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. So I'm going to take that thing that we built and put it in our brand new sound file here. And this is like MIDI clock experiments. So we can come back to this. We have seen, and I suppose we better save this as something.
Exactly.
I'll just call it, we'll just call it, what are we up to?
MIDI clock.
Kyma challenge.
Kyma challenge, MIDI clock.
MIDI clock delay.
Delay, exactly.
Cool. So now we want to delay.
Right.
So what do you want your delay to do?
Well, basically, do you remember a while back we did this? It's like it's a delay with feedback, but it's really long delays, 30 seconds, a minute, whatever. It's a lot of feedback. So it's like a loop. Sounds like a loop, but it's really a delay. So if you go for an hour or two, like I do, you know, it's decaying, you know, and you're basically in overdub mode the whole time. Kind of what I'm imagining. So I want to get these kind of cool tones from Eurorack, percussive. You know, have a nice low sub hit or something from DFAM. Comes back around and then, but you're in time. So that's what basically I just want the delay, imagining a delay that's, you know, a bunch of delays at different times. So it keeps overlapping it in different places, but in time.
So
why I have a clock.
So if the sound that's coming in you just want in time, then we just need to set the length of the delay to the appropriate time.
Yeah. So 3 or 5 or 7 delays, however many you want, basically, all at different multiples of the clock.
Okay. So
That's what I'm imagining.
if we set this to 60 seconds,
yeah,
then our delay scale will be, well, this is like our number of beats, isn't it? How many beats do you want? Because we're not really synchronizing. We're just setting the length, aren't we? We don't really need to, it's not so much that we need to, because I'm thinking we could just take the, come back to our experiments, the duration. That's just telling us how big.
how long, how much of that 60 seconds?
Yeah.
Timing clock duration.
Yeah. I think. So if we might just put it in here to, so we got the timing clock duration. So that is the duration of the 20. So we need to multiply that by 24 to get the quarter note. And
so that puts it into a quarter note.
Yeah. So if it was
so if you did,
and then we divide that by 60, because that's then a duration in seconds for each quarter note, and then you want to divide that by 60 to say what proportion of a 60-second delay that would be. I need to start Cubase, I guess. And that's our number there. Now the number isn't very stable. Maybe for whatever reason. So I think if we compile that, we can see it on an oscilloscope. I just did a command Y to get the kind of debug.
That must be, is that a new thing with the Akamara, or can you do that?
It's newish, but I don't know, a year or two old. It's
Okay, maybe
I think. Can't
I mean,
remember.
I've obviously evaluated a lot of things, but I don't know that I've done a command Y and gotten the scope. Maybe I have.
It's kind of
Okay.
cool. Yeah, if you do it on a Capitalk expression, then it will kind of just
Maybe maybe I have done that.
it will show you that. But what's interesting about it is it's a kind of a self the oscilloscope is kind of self calibrating, is that the right word? So it kind of looks at the lowest value and the highest value and gets them onto the oscilloscope. And so it shows you here, I mean, that's the instantaneous value, but it's showing you here that the minimum, well, sorry, the maximum value is this and the minimum value is that. So you can see it's pretty precise. It's 0.020 and it's going between 0.0204 and 0.208.
Mm-hmm.
So although it looks like it is jittering all over the place, but it's not like, can we zoom out from this? Or does it let us? I don't think it does. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, there's, sorry, of course there's no more zooming out. So that's going to create, like in our delay, if we don't have smoothing turned on, that jitter will be enough, I imagine, without doing the math in my head, but that could be enough for it to like move by more than a sample. I mean, it only has to move a sample and you get a click. You see what I mean? So this constant jitter could go
And that might be just what we need.
should we hear it first
The noise, yeah.
Okay, let's see what it sounds like, because I think this might create a bunch of fuzz. And we can multiply that by the number of beats you want.
I like those beats too, actually.
And the feedback, of course, would be the turnips.
Right. Turnips, yeah.
We'll put
green juice.
We'll put that next. So right.
Your hypothesis was correct.
Yeah, that sounds like that, doesn't it?
So we're hearing the clock coming through.
Yeah, I think what we're hearing is that this is jiggling around. The delay scale is moving all the time, and if it moves by more than a sample, then you're going to hear a discontinuity in the output.
Well, could we just make that a fixed value of the clock?
Well, we could well, there's a couple of things. We could put smoothing on, but then we might just get some interesting flangey type effects. If we try that.
Okay, let's hear that.
Well, the clicks have gone. So should we try it on something that we would hear a flangey effect on, like we try MS-DOS. MS-DOS, 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 MS-DOS. I mean, that sounded okay. So So you could leave it like that, but you could try and get rid of that jitter by we could either round it off, or we could try and. Is there any hysteresis functions in?
I've seen hysteresis before in close.
Threshold hysteresis. True when is greater than. Closest integer with hysteresis. If a fractional number differs from the previous result of this expression by more than hysteresis, the app changes to the closest integer to the fractional number, otherwise the result is left unchanged. Closest integer with hysteresis. Okay, so we're seeing this number was jittering around. Oh, I don't know what it's doing now. Oh no, it's because we're dividing it down, wasn't it? Yeah, so yeah, if we just look at that again, we're getting 0.20, and it's just the bit after that. So if we multiplied it by 1, by 10, 100, if we multiply it by 1,000, then we could use hysteresis in its closest integer.
Right.
Closest integer with hysteresis.
Yeah. I'm wondering what.
So what's this? So for values less than this is the same as rounding. For hysteresis greater than 0.5, the output sticks with the previous result until the input changes by more than history. Okay. I'm not really sure what to set this to, but I guess that could be larger than 1. We could put it at that. And then we could divide that by 1,000 again. And see what that looks like. Yeah, look, that's just. That's not moving.
Not much is happening there, is it? Doesn't seem to be.
Now the downside for doing this is that it could drift over time because we're not exactly the right value.
Right. That could be cool though.
But maybe that could be cool. So I think, so we got that interesting sort of choice. So why don't we just use that back in our delay. So we're going to replace that with that. Timing clock, do that hysteresis stuff. So that's our fraction, and we can put that in the delay. Like so. And if we take the smooth changes off again, there's no clicking. Okay, so we want the original sound coming through as well. So you can hear the effect of the delay.
Yeah.
So that's like one beat.
Could you put a more percussive sample in there?
Of course.
Maybe there's the one that I always liked, Tidal. Something Tidal. Let me
Title.
see if I can find it. It's in that it's in the global or the sound library we all get. Yeah. SW here. SWS 62 Tidal. Kind of a cool one. I'll drop it in the chat so you just copy paste it.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, tidal, right? Yeah.
Like a tidal wave.
Yeah. Ah, try that again. There we go. There we go. Now, do you want to hear this? Should we synchronize this to the BPM?
Yeah, so that 62 is the BPM.
Or is it 62 BPM?
Yeah.
Okay, so
The synchronized Cubase with that, right?
okay, yeah, let's do that. That'd be easiest, wouldn't it? Because there is that BPM player that we could use, but okay, 62 BPM. So it's got, you can hear a bit of.
That sounds in time.
I mean, it's kind of in time. It's got a bit of blurring, so it's not like absolutely spot on, but it's it's.
Seems to be pretty good.
I'm not sure what's going on, to be honest, because let's we'll change the scale on that, and should we spread them?
What were you just in there?
I was thinking we could put one on the
spread
left.
the original and
Yeah, put one on the left and one on the right. Oops. Get rid of that. So that's hard, and then we could put a kind of spread in there. So you put a channel crosser with that in, and that will kind of control the amount of spread. Okay, now I can.
seems in time.
Yeah, but it's not like a beat. Like if I put it to one beat. Is that one beat? I guess so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess that's one beat, yeah.
Can we hear it with some feedback?
Of course.
Thanks. What's the delay without feedback? Turn spread.
So you can hear it spreading, can't you?
Yeah, I like it. Interesting things are happening.
So this is
Wow.
where we're using hysteresis to do that business. So maybe we could turn that on and off.
Have an option to have it.
Yeah, exactly. And then we can compare it.
We're closing in on an hour, by the way.
Oh my good God.
Time flies, huh?
When you're having fun. So we could just say timing clock duration. Oh yeah, and just leave it unadulterated. Yeah, so we just go like the round clock or something. So if round clock is false, actually I like to do true first. We'll do that. And if it's false, we'll do the other one. There. All right, just check the brackets are all good. Yeah. Okay.
I think that's excellent.
That doesn't sound like what I was expecting. Ah, do we? Yes, of course. The reason why that sounded so awful is because we turned smoothing off. We need to put smoothing back on.
Smoothing back on? Okay.
Ooh, now you're getting the flanging. Can you hear that with the?
I can, that's wild. Dropping it.
That should go away eventually. I think it's because it comes in from probably 0.5.
So this is with the hysteresis option off, is that right?
Oh no, this is rounded, so that changed. Why did that change?
This is wild, man. The sounds I'm hearing on this end.
I wouldn't expect turning the round clock on and off to make much of a difference. get rid of the turnips for a minute. Let it settle. It's way out. That doesn't sound like 4 beats anymore.
Yeah, now we're off, aren't we?
Have I messed up the math somewhere? What have I done? That just doesn't sound right.
Let's just go back. Let's just what we had before seemed to be right in time.
Yeah.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe we just stick with that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of like bemused as to what just happened. Will you indulge me to put this in here for a second so we can just see?
Oh, by all means,
Yeah, look, that's what's going on. Right, that's the kind of number we're expecting. 0.02. And then take that off. We're getting 0.06. We're getting a really different number. That suggests I've really messed something up here. I can't see. What can you see? What?
I'm hanging on by a thread, my friend, with the mathematics.
Well, if this thing's true, then it should do this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it should do this thing. Now, that's multiplying by 1,000, finding the closest integer, dividing by 1,000 again. So they should be really close. Wow, God, true, do that. False, do that. I don't think I've got brackets wrong. That's more like it. Yeah, those numbers are almost the same. It seems that I had something wrong with the brackets.
Mm.
Okay. So this is with the round clog. You'll get there eventually.
Does it sound in time?
So you can hear that now that the delay time's kind of settled. It's it's in time, but it's kind of quite smeared,
I, I, I
which is
like it.
which is a thing. So if we take the rounding off, then we'll probably get more precise because it will kind of drift up and down with the estimate of the clock. I think it sounds better with that off. But
Fell apart there.
yes, because it's taking quite a long time to slew. Okay. So a little bit of blurring, but it's not bad. Once the delay settles. But if we go and change the number of beats, it takes quite a long time to okay. So if we go with the rounding of the clock, we could take the smoothing off and then it would do it instantly. It'll just click when we change, but maybe that's better.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You're a genius.
So yeah, if you don't have the feedback up too high, it doesn't blur too much. Put the feedback up, you start to hear it spread because the clock isn't bang on. There you go.
Well done, my friend. I mean, I was imagining this. I had no idea it would be so involved. You know what I mean? You think, oh, I'm just gonna put this in sync and we'll be fine. And it's this is why I just do free time. I don't do tempos and pulses because it's just you know. But no, I think that's very cool. I want to try it on my rig.
Yeah, yes, and
Yeah.
it sort of raises that interesting thing.
But doesn't the thing is when you're clocking and you're in sync and you're rhythmic, it doesn't take much jitter and variation to realize, oh, that's out of you're off, you're out of time, like somebody's dragging in the band or rushing in the band, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
like pick up on that really quickly.
Yeah.
But uh
So it might be
it's,
worth like looking at getting a more precise. I mean, it might. I wonder if Kyma can receive a better clock. I mean, it could be that sending it over USB is, I don't know. We could compare it.
yeah,
One,
maybe it's worth
it would
maybe
be
it's worth
possible.
having a few variations to see. Maybe making Kyma the master clock, sending MIDI out, you know, something like
Yeah,
that. Maybe this is a to be continued
it could
kind of
be
thing. Let
because
this
you could compare it with the wired version,
mm,
and then you could also see, because like, how is Kyma sampling that clock? All of Capitalk is at 1,000 hertz. So at what kind of frequency is it receiving? So even if the clock is sort of precise, if Kyma's sampling it could, it'd be a little bit fast, a little bit. I mean, when you looked at the oscilloscope, it was sort of like fast, slow, fast, slow, fast, slow.
mm,
Which sort of could be an issue of sampling the clock at some rate that isn't really in sync with the clock. So you get a short one and then you get a long one and a short one and a long one.
yeah,
So I guess the other thing we could do, which again might be for another time, is
yeah.
I mean, here we tried rounding the clock with the hysteresis, and that means that we get something that wasn't really quite. In fact, it was slightly higher, if you remember, because our clock seemed to be oscillating between what 0.0208 and 204, and when we used this hysteresis thing, it was coming out as 2.1, so it was higher than any of the clock values. So it was obviously out a little bit. We tried letting it drift, but then you have to put smoothing on the delay, which means that when you change things, it takes quite a long time to slew, especially if you've got feedback on. It takes a long time to slew.
Hmm.
So another thing is we could sort of average the clock. We could measure the clock over time and kind of average it, if you see what I mean.
Mm.
So that we're not, I mean, so we're not just sort of rounding it or doing this hysteresis thing. We could sort of average it over time. And so, which would mean that we could put a number in here which doesn't really change often. So we don't have to worry about the smooth delay changes, but that is a more accurate representation. Instead of just going up, down, up, down, up, down, it's sort of the the average of that.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and that might stay more synced.
Why don't we play around with this and just see? I think it's to that point. Let it simmer or marinate, try it out, and then we'll
Yeah,
come back to be continued.
yeah,
Well done.
we made a thing.
Well, you made a thing. I just kind of had an idea, and yeah, very cool.
Mm.
Here's to try it out. Make
Yeah,
some
yeah,
other.
give it a go. I'll send it.
Yeah, please do. And yeah, closing sentiments.
There's a load more here. There's lots more. I mean, we didn't even get to like having multiple delays at different timings.
Right. That's what I'm imagining. This was I'm imagining very slow, like one percussive sound in a 60-second delay on it, but with feedback.
Mm,
Right. So it comes back every 60 seconds, basically. But then you have seven delays, all with a different sound in the delay line. So you keep getting this stacking. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, well, I mean, what we were hearing there was very like a lot happening all at once, which is could be cool too.
and
But
and on
this
a
is
very rhythmic sample as well. So
exactly
not exactly what you're
kind
talking.
of see if it's working because this is going to be very slow, but in time. It's
Mm,
kind of I'm imagining.
Mm. So do you think these different delays, they'd have different timings from each other, but
Mm-hmm.
they'd be sort of ratios of each other in some way.
Exact,
So
exactly.
they'd
But
be
when they
still
stack,
synced.
it's rhythmic.
Yeah. So like one would be twice as long or two-thirds as long as the other one or something.
Right. We can get into also you can get into
But
odd timing and
yeah, then you get a bit of kind of
yeah, you could even
polymetric.
be a is that polymetric, polyrhythmic? I've always been
I don't know. I have to Google it again.
can
I
it be
can
both?
never
We'll have to read up on that one,
I
but
keep getting which way round it is, but it's the I think it's metric. I think it's polymetric. I don't know. Somebody Google it quick.
yeah.
But
Anyway, it's cool because it's easy enough to do like if you don't have a tempo or timing and you just kind of
yeah,
have these slow fitting in sounds and ambient
yeah, and
ambient stuff.
that you're
That's
clocking from. I mean, the other
right.
thing we could try as well, which could be a giggle, um, is taking like an analog signal in. If we're coming in like from Eurorack, so instead of taking a MIDI clock, we could take a like an analog clock,
Hmm.
and so have some kind of threshold detection, something in Kyma that would like turn in the audio domain that will kind of turn a analog clock signal into this thing. But I imagine we'll still have that same issue where the clock will, especially coming straight off an analog clock, it'll probably be drifting a bit.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
and
maybe
so
we
we
can
might
use
have
that
the
to our
same,
advantage. But yeah.
yeah, the same averaging issues and the same stuff. And then we might get
Hmm.
into some interesting. See, I think that I've been fascinated to try for a while is to have like with the delay, you got these kind of two modes. If you have smoothing off and you change the delay time, it clicks, because it jumps instantly from one size of delay to another, and so you just get discontinuity and it clicks. If you have smoothing on, then it can take quite a while, and you get all the pitching effects, if you know what I
Yeah.
mean. So
Hmm.
one thing that might be kind of fun, especially if we're doing it in clicks of whole beats, so we're not really changing that time, that duration constantly. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's constantly varying. It's like we're changing the beat size every so often. Is to sort of detect the change and to have two delays and do a crossfade. So like the delay never changes its duration while we're listening to it. It crossfades to another, so the other one, so you've got like an input going into both delays. One of them sort of silent effectively, and the other one has the duration that you want. And then you change the duration, it changes it in the silent one, crossfades to that, and then the other one's silent.
Yeah.
And so you could
I
change,
see
you
what
know what I mean? So
exactly. Yeah. So you never hear the pitch change.
no, yeah, and but all of the delays will have no smoothing on. So they change instantly, but they change while they're silent. And then you could that could be quite an interesting thing to try, because then you'd be sort of crossfading in volume rather than kind of smoothing time. So you wouldn't get these kind of pitch effects. I
Yeah.
mean, which are nice when you want them, but if you don't want them,
Brilliant. Yeah. Sounds good, man. Sounds great.
things
All
going
things to think about. Let's noodle with this and then come back, come back soon with a part two, maybe part three.
on. Yeah,
So, yeah, like you said, a lot to explore here.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Brilliant. Great
Great to
work,
see you, man.
man.
Yeah,
Great to see you. And we'll get back into it soon.
yeah.
All right. Cheers, Alan. Thanks, everybody.